Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video this evening, and I am here with the latest in terms of what is happening across the North Atlantic. There is a tropical wave that will be approaching the Caribbean as we progress into the early part of the new week that could bring a lot of rainfall for most of the Eastern Caribbean. And so I'll be going into what to expect and what models are forecasting, as well as current conditions out there and whether we could see development. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update. Alright, and so as we take a look at the Atlantic Basin this evening, let's zoom into some areas, and we're going to be starting out with northern South America, after which we'll move up into some other areas. And here we're seeing the area at a closer view, and there are lots of showers and thunderstorms across some areas, parts of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, all that activity just coming in from the tropical Atlantic. But take a look over into southern Central America, where we have parts of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. Lots of showers and thunderstorms, and there's also a tropical wave in the area that is helping to enhance all that activity. So no doubt about some flooding there right now, and so I hope that everyone being affected is doing okay. But we can even see ABC Islands where things remain pretty dry. So it has been like that for some time now. Unfortunately, due to the location of the small island chain, there isn't much rainfall, and there hasn't been much rainfall within the area. So going over to the Windward Islands now, inclusive of Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, we can see here that there is some moisture within the area, maybe with some brief showers or overcast conditions at the most for some parts of St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, maybe for Barbados at times, but there isn't any major thunderstorm activity this afternoon, fortunately, because the area recently dealt with a lot of rainfall earlier this week. So this wouldn't be something preferred. However, as I said, there's that other tropical wave that's going to be coming in with lots of activity as what was seen, and so we'll be looking at that in more details very shortly. But let's move on into other areas, and looking across most of the Caribbean now, we can see that things remain dry as we progress into the rest of the Lesser Antilles, going up into the Leeward Islands. Some clouds passing through, coming in from the west. For Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, pretty sunny, pretty dry Saturday afternoon. Over in some spots of Hispaniola, there is some thunderstorm activity. Continuing westward, we can see that there was a bit of activity across some parts of Jamaica, especially for northern Jamaica, but nothing much. Big contrast compared to yesterday, where there was a lot of rainfall across some northwestern parishes. But progressing throughout the rest of today, there might be the development of some more shower and thunderstorm activity. So you can let me know in the comments what conditions are like for your area. Going over into Cuba, South Florida, and parts of the Bahamas, we see that there is definitely some shower and thunderstorm activity across many spots. The Cayman Islands looking pretty dry. Over into the rest of Central America for the Yucatan, it is along the Caribbean coast that we really see that shower and thunderstorm activity developing and moving further inland. And then same story for some sections of Belize, Guatemala, and down into some parts of Honduras. And the eastern side is being impacted by all that increase in rainfall activity down in the southwestern Caribbean. So for other areas such as Roatan, Ambergris Caye, the other Bay Islands, there isn't a whole lot happening this evening. Things remain pretty sunny and dry. And so now going out into the main development region, where we have this large area of shower and thunderstorm activity. Now, the first thing that I want to point out to you guys is that nothing new is marked for development during the next 7 days on the latest outlook map from the National Hurricane Center. So it seems unlikely that we will see developments, and the reason for that is because of the unfavorable environmental conditions out there, which is not something uncommon for July, because there's usually a lot of that strong wind shear coming in from the west, as well as a lot of that dry air, the Saharan dust making its way in and resulting in a lot of dry, stable weather. So we're seeing this cluster of activity here, and as we go onto the Saharan area map, there we can see that most of that dry air and dust lies to the north of the area of showers and thunderstorms, and there's also some other clusters behind that closer to the coast of Africa. Now, as I said, this is going to be making its way to the Caribbean early next week, week and will be inducing a lot of rainfall. So that is something that is that models are in agreement with, and so I'll be showing you guys what is expected. Now this is a map for the total precipitation, and so as it becomes more colorful, a lot more rainfall is expected. But it is important to note that as this map, as we go out in time with this map here, this isn't all expected in one day. It's just the accumulated rainfall within this time period, heading from now to Wednesday. So let's see what is expected. There we have the forecast time right there. And so as we go out in time, we're seeing that, especially heading into tomorrow afternoon, it is likely that there's going to be quite a bit of rainfall across parts of Central America and northern South America. Maybe a good chance of rain for the southeastern Caribbean islands. Not a whole lot expected for the northern Caribbean. But as we're going to be heading into Sunday, going into Monday, take a look at that continuous streak of those brighter colors, indicating all of that rainfall total expected in association with that wave that will be approaching the area. And even though we're seeing all of this rainfall increase expected for the Caribbean, we cannot outrule what is expected for parts of Central and Northern South America. Some areas experiencing rainfall totals within this time frame here, going to around late Wednesday up to over 125 millimeters of rainfall. So that is something pretty significant, especially along the northwestern coast of Colombia and of Panama and Costa Rica, where we currently have a lot of activity taking place. And so again, this isn't all expected within just one day or so, but it is still a lot of rainfall, so likely going to be inducing a lot of flooding across many areas. And then as we take a look at the GFS model now, as we're going to be progressing into tomorrow, a lot of rainfall expected down in Costa Rica and Panama as well. GFS in agreement with Euro in terms of that rainfall activity for the southeastern Caribbean, and we're seeing some more substantial rainfall for parts of the northwestern Caribbean, Cuba, and even going up to parts of the Bahamas and South Florida as well. So as we head further out in time, as we head to Tuesday, there we're seeing that stream of activity again. It is that accumulated rainfall as a result of all that moisture that will be making its way into the area. And then eventually, as we head to late Wednesday, we're also seeing the GFS showing those very high totals in all for parts of northern South America and Central America, and even some higher totals along parts of the Dominican Republic and even close to Puerto Rico. So pretty interesting here. And unfortunately for the ABC Islands, much rainfall isn't expected at all. Similar story for parts of the southeastern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands as well. So that is pretty unfortunate, because I know that these areas have been longing for a good downpour, and that doesn't seem likely within the next couple of days from now. And so I also want you guys to note that this is a forecast, and even though both of these models are in agreement with that major rainfall increase, there can still be some variations and inaccuracies, because what we're seeing now doesn't mean that this is exactly what will take place. Of course, that is true for some cases, but a majority of times there are the actual event is different from what was previously anticipated. And so that is the reason I do daily updates and updates up to twice a day, so that you're never caught off guard and so that you know exactly what is happening. And so that is pretty much it for now, and I hope that you found this video to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I will respond as best and as soon as I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.